Hello guys, very warm welcome to our live webinar today. I'm super happy to see that we have so many participants already, and I'm happy to see that you're so interactive in the chat, that you're so active in the chat, and we prepared a lot of useful information for you today, because as you know, today we're going to have a very interesting and very amazing webinar about McKinsey final round case interview simulation. So that's why today our case will be more interesting and more difficult than even before. So that's why we ask you to take a seat, probably prepare a cup of coffee or tea, and choose the most comfortable place in your home, and try to be really very concentrated, because as I said, that will be very interesting and very difficult case. So our coaches, Andre and Gaurav, will share their insights and a lot of useful information, which will help you to get into consulting and to find your way in this sphere. And also, I will recommend you to be really very active in the chat, and this will also help you to crack the case and see the sorts of other participants. And let's start our webinar. And before we start, I have some questions to you. And first of all, please share with us in the chat what are the skills that you would like to obtain in the nearest future. Please share with us your thoughts, your dreams, your wishes. And André, probably you also have some skills that you would like to obtain in the nearest future. Share with us.
Sorry, Alina, did you ask me something?
Yes, I asked you to share if you have some skills that you would like to obtain in the nearest future.
Oh, in the nearest future, what are the skills? What are the skills? I'm obtaining the flying license in Switzerland for paragliding. So I literally would like to learn how to fly in the nearest future. So this is my objective for this summer. Does it count?
Of course, that sounds really great. And to see that in our chat, we have, okay, we have structured thinking, mental skills, Mrs. Structure Math. Okay, so mostly you want to improve your mental math skills. That's really great. Okay, and another question to you guys: what do you expect from this webinar? How do you think you will, after this simulation, which new knowledge you will have, or probably new skills? So please share with us, what do you expect to obtain after this webinar? Plus, it will be really very interesting to read your thoughts. Okay, a new perspective of dealing with case studies. Okay, handling stress interviews. See Gaurav grilling aspiring consultant candidate. Okay, that's really great. Okay.
Julia, would you like to become the next candidate for the next webinar? I think we still have a couple of spots available. Or if you want, actually, I mean, we can even do some sort of a lottery. And if you want, we can also get some volunteers who would like to be the candidates for the future webinars. We can pick one of you if you want. So do you have any volunteers who would love to play the role of the candidates for the next webinar? Can you maybe raise your hand?
Oh, we actually have some of them. Just guys, write please in the chat. Okay. Oh, we have some.
I see the hand of Nayan. Okay. Anyone else? Come on, guys, don't be shy. This is not that bad. This is even exciting.
So Nayan,
All
Ritvika,
right. So, yeah. Nayan, Gaurav, Shafran, Ritvika. Okay. That's very nice. Anyone else? Okay, Alina. Sorry, Alina. Let's basically continue
Yeah, sure.
and give a chance to people, yeah, to show their boldness.
Okay, so let me tell you about our agenda of our today's webinar. And first of all, we will tell you a small introduction about our company and about format and rules for today's webinar. And after this, André will share with you our mission of Consulting Masters. And then you will hear some feedback of work with us from our clients. After this, we will start the main part of our webinar. It will be interactive case interview simulation with our interviewer Gaurav, one of our coaches, and our candidate Luca. And after this, you will be able to ask your questions and share your feedback in the chat. So please be very active. And in the end, you will receive some bonus materials. So now let's move to our format and rules. So our webinar is going to be 2 hours. And as I said, we will start with introduction, format and rules, which is going to be approximately 15 minutes. After this, we will make our clients' references for approximately 15 minutes as well. And then it will be our interactive interview simulation for 50 minutes. After this, we'll make feedback and Q&A session for 25 minutes. And in the end, we'll spend some time for bonus materials, which is going to be approximately 10 minutes. And also, I want to ask you, please mute till the end. And during the simulation, please turn your camera off, because it will really help our candidate to concentrate, and we will not hear any extra voices during the webinar, and we will not disturb other participants. So it will be very, very useful. And please mute yourself and turn off the camera during the presentation, during the simulation.
In the past years.
And
they did a benchmarking study and found that their costs are higher than the market by 400 million.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and those who stay with us until the end will receive bonus materials and special offers for the first session with our coaches. And I will tell you more details about the bonus materials in the end. But the most important thing of bonus materials is that those who will stay with us till the end will receive the recording of the webinar. So that's why I would strongly recommend you to stay with us if you want to have a lot of useful information, useful materials to start your preparation and or continue your preparation for the case interview. And now I want to introduce you our team for today's webinar. So my name is Alina, and I'm head of the marketing department at Consulting Masters. And now I want to introduce you our candidate for today. Our candidate is Luca. Luca, hi, how are you doing? Can you please tell us about yourself?
Yeah, hi Alina, thank you so much. So basically, my name is Luca Zanit. I'm currently doing a master's program in management at TSMT Berlin. And apart from this, I'm also working currently at biopharmaceuticals on my master's thesis in the field of innovation strategy and IP strategy. And yeah, basically, I'm actually been preparing with the master's consulting team for some time already for my upcoming interviews in strategy consulting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you that you joined us today and that you're going to participate in this simulation. We're really happy to see you today. And now I want to give a word to one of our coaches, one of our great experts, Andre. How are you?
Yeah, thank you very much. And hi, everyone. I'm doing really very well. Yeah, hope you're doing well again. Okay, I think that many of you have, yeah, already know me. But to those who don't, I'm a founder of Consulting Masters, and together with the entire team, we help students, MBAs, and young professionals to get into the leading job offers in job consulting firms across the entire world. And this is basically due to two reasons. First of all, I have been working in consulting on my own for more than 6 years. And also coaching and helping out people has been always my true passion. Yeah, maybe something which you don't know here and which is not mentioned here is that maybe 10 years back, I was a young student or a young professional as you are. And I had this big ambition of working in diverse multinational environment, to be surrounded with great open-minded people and to work on the most challenging projects across the world and to create a real life impact. And it was so much struggle for me to get inside. I mean, I can still remember when I was applying for my first full-time position in Germany. German was not at that time my mother tongue. I'm born Ukrainian, so it was so much challenging for me. I got rejected 39 times actually before I was accepted at one of the leading consulting firms worldwide. And I had like so much stress, so many gray hairs, and yeah, it was extremely challenging for me, really. And I don't want you to do the same experience. That's why I'm offering you my hand and the hand of our team to help you to get into the consulting job smoothly and also to start earning yeah, what you deserve, really high salaries, because the benefits in consulting are way higher than in the industry. So here we are, and that's why please use this opportunity, ask your questions, propose your ideas, and more importantly, solve the case with us, solve the case together with Luca, with Gaurav, myself, and with other team members. And use this opportunity to come one step closer towards your dream consulting job. I can promise to you, applying into consulting gonna be challenging, gonna be tough, especially during the COVID period, but it's more than pays out. It's more than worth it because you will experience such a huge development in future. I'm so excited about helping you out with here. And if we have a look in the next page, basically the numbers also say speak for themselves. So together with Gaurav, we combine more than 12 years of experience in consulting and more than a decade in coaching, which actually helped us to do. So already more than 600 students who have graduated from our programs, they are currently working with all leading consulting firms worldwide nowadays. And among of them, more than 200 people we have placed into McKinsey, BCG, and Bain, so-called MBB firms. So do you want to become the next? Can you please write it into the chat? So do you want to become the next one who gets an offer from one of the leading consulting firm worldwide? Yes, yes, Ismail, I see your engagement. Anyone else would like to get an offer? Yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah. Why otherwise to show up here even? And I also want to share with you a couple of good news on the next page. Actually, so far, very recently, 7 of our candidates have actually started working this spring in these 4 leading firms with McKinsey, with Bain, with Oliver Wyman, and Roland Berger in different offices across Europe, Middle East, and Asia. And they already today started earning something between 50,000 US dollars or euros up to 150,000 depending on the region, depending on the firm and the position that they got. So this monetary benefit is exactly the result of collaboration, of your work together with us. So if you want also to increase, double, triple your salary, or significantly increase your career options in future in the long run, then join consulting industry and let's basically start working together to help you get there. And by the way, Alina, can you maybe also share the link where you can, with everyone, where you can book the first call for a free consultation call with one of our client managers for you. So just make this first step tonight so that you can become a bit closer to your dream consulting job. And what is not mentioned here on this chart, and I'm so happy about it, we will definitely announce it very soon. But actually this week, just yesterday and before yesterday, so on Monday and on Tuesday, 2 of our VIP clients have actually received the job offers in Europe and in the Middle East. And we will definitely announce it very soon. So stay tuned. And if you want to be one of the next ones who would like to start working with us and get into consulting and start earning really good money and be surrounded with very interesting people, then simply don't hesitate and click on the link and book a first free consultation call with our client manager just right now. So click on this link right now and choose an available slot for you. I think I have spoken more than enough, so I would rather suggest let's give a word to our customers. So those guys who are working with us, who are here in the chat, can you maybe just turn on your cameras and speak out about your experience? Luca, shall we maybe start with you? How is it going so far? Did you come closer to your offers?
Yeah, definitely. So thanks,
Luca?
André, for can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Tell it.
Great. So there was a bit of a delay. So from my experiences, I've had really a great experience working with consulting masters. So there's a kind of 2 key aspects to this. So it's kind of an integrative or holistic approach to getting you ready for consulting interviews, and really working also not only on the case part but also on the fit part, and really polishing your stories for the fit part, and learning how to approach different types of questions and really perfecting your stories. And secondly, on the case part, it has been really valuable to me to kind of have a good sounding board to talk about main concerns I have and main questions I have about how to approach the case and how to actually perform well in the interviews. And so far I've also done with some people I know from McKinsey and from other companies in preparation for my interviews, and they all gave me really good feedback in my mocks. So that's also a good representation of my preparedness for the interviews.
Yeah, thank you very much. And can you maybe just sum up, like, what has been so far the most valuable for you in our program and in our collaboration? So how do you perceive it from the client's perspective?
Well, so basically what I did before, so I before used to practice a lot with peers, and of course there's a lot of value in peer practice, but the major bottleneck with this is that you basically practice with people who you might find on Prep Lounge or other different forums, and you don't know how well prepared these peers are, so the value of their feedback kind of deteriorates. But when you have coaches and also peers that get the expert advice and good feedback that they need to know what is a good benchmark of performance. You really know whether someone is giving you the right, helping you head in the right direction in terms of performance, and otherwise you're just going in circles and not really focusing on what's most important in your preparation, and you don't know really what are the real benchmarks of success and what would help you succeed in the process. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Luca, for sharing. We also have here Juan Tran. Juan, maybe you could also speak out and share your experience of working together. Juan? Juan, are you here? All right, maybe she's not. Aishwarya?
Yes.
Yeah. So Aishwarya, how's it going so far? Can you maybe tell others from your experience, and what have you learned most recently?
From my side, Andre,
can you maybe also briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm a banking and a financial professional. I'm currently building business for a Singapore-based asset management company in the north. So given the fact that I have very little consulting experience, even with case solving and how to go about the entire structure, plus with my workload, it was becoming difficult to reach my goal. Now, ever since, it's been 2 months, and I have such structured approach within, let's say, whatever time span I have in the day, how to approach my goal, what is my, let's say, strategy from here on. I think these are really valuable assets for my preparation from here on.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you very much for sharing, Aishwarya. So let's basically move on towards the most interesting part of our webinar. So on the next page, I want to pass the word to my good friend and my business partner, Gaurav Bhosle, another excellent coach.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining from. And I think you guys also get used to saying something like this if you want to get into consulting. It's a very, very global business. I don't want to repeat the numbers written on the slide, but got a chance to work with almost 27 countries in 6 years in consulting, and that's what you get in consulting. A breadth of exposure and a value add of a different kind, right? I've been a coach, a full-time coach, and helping people get into McKinsey, BCG, Bain, and the top consulting companies. The numbers are here to speak, guys. But let me tell you that this is the industry which is cutthroat. This is the industry where you have to be prepared, not only to get into consulting, but also to stay in consulting. Okay. And this is where me and André thought, let's start off with a company which is not just helping people get into consulting, but let's create star consultants. And that is what we try to do. We try to coach you in such a way that it's not just the theoretical problem solving that you learn, but also something that can be used much beyond the interview process. Okay, I'll just leave you with one fact. So if you see the number of people who apply to some of the top consulting companies and those who make it, it's even in the best time, the selection ratio is below 1%. Okay, so it's a really competitive field, and of course you have all the benefits that that you get once you compete and once you emerge at the top. My association with McKinsey as a consultant, then I also recruited for them, and over the time I have been associated with a lot of their different events and recruitment, etc. So uh, of all the firms, if there's one firm that I know the best, it's the firm that we are talking about, or we are trying to simulate the case in. Yeah. So I strongly urge you guys to go through the process like what Luca is going to go through. Yeah, I'm going to ask some questions to him. You also try and answer those at your end. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, if you have, of course, at the end, feedback for Luca, feel free to document, feel free to kind of put it in the chat box. Yeah, consulting is collaborative problem solving, and let's demonstrate that in today's session. Okay, great. So that's the introduction. I think with introduction we would directly head into a case. But Andre, you have
just
something.
Just a moment. Yeah, there is always something missing here. So thank you very much, Gaurav, for introduction. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I simply want to, ask you, do you want to see how the real McKinsey interview, final interview round looks like? Do you want to see it? Can you maybe write it into the chat? Yeah, cool. Yeah, seems like you really want to see. And what exactly do you want to see in this simulation? What exactly do you want to learn from it? Stress testing, real scenario. Okay, anything else? Stress management. Okay, sounds good. Cool. And guys, would you like to practice with us? So would you like to try to crack this case in parallel with us? So simply take up your pen and a piece of paper and try to answer these interviews, these questions which will be asked to Luca, or try to tell your stories in front of the cameras, of course staying muted. Or would you like to try to crack the case which Gaurav is going to give to Luca? Or maybe you have different questions which you would like to ask to Gaurav as McKinsey interviewer at the end of the interview. So would you like to simply simultaneously with us try to crack this McKinsey final round to maximize the value for you? Yeah. All right, cool. So let's basically do that. And without any hesitation, you see Luca, he's a little bit nervous. It's probably because he's for the first time attending our webinars as a candidate, and he doesn't know you guys. So guys, can all of you please turn on your cameras for the moment and cheer him up and wish him best of luck. I think he really deserves and he needs your support. So guys, can you please turn on your camera and your microphone and wish Luca good luck?
Good luck, Luca.
Good luck, Luca.
Good luck, Luca.
Go for it, Luca.
Hey, Luca.
All right, Luca. And guys, thank you very much for your support. Luca, I also wish you to have a good luck. And Gaurav, please don't be that stressful this time with Luca. He's still a newbie, so just take it easy, relax. This is all good. Luca, I'm definitely sure you will manage it. And Luca, I wish you best of luck. Stay confident. Your McKinsey interviews are also coming soon, so treat this as a best preparation which you can have. And yeah, I wish you all the best. And now let's basically simulate this environment. Luca, are you ready to start?
Thank you everyone for the encouragement. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, go with God, but go.
Okay, great. So, welcome to McKinsey, Germany, Luca. How are you doing today?
Great, and you?
Yes, I'm doing good. How is the process going on so far? You are in last round. What's your experience?
So thank you for asking. So I think the experience has been really excellent. I've had a great relationship with the recruiters, and also the coaches have been extremely useful in providing great feedback.
Yeah, I've got a good feedback about you from all our interviewers. They say you're good. Yeah, you think you're good for McKinsey?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me why. Why should we hire you?
So I think there's several key reasons. One is my analytical skills. So in my past, I have worked on several consulting projects with Deutsche Telekom as well as RW Renewables on helping them solve very complex issues to improve and steer their performance. Secondly, my leadership skills, apart from scaling student clubs and organizations from 2 to 40 members, I have also led external consulting teams for the UNDP to create processes for and a strategy for a newly founded impact investing fund. And lastly, I think the blend of these two skills in terms of, or the blend of these two traits in terms of problem solving and leadership would help me excel in a career at McKinsey.
Okay. Lot of big brands you spoke about. Tell me one thing, out of the work that you have done till now during your internship and external consultant, which project you think is close to you think what we do at McKinsey?
So I think several of them are very close to what you do at McKinsey. If I was to pick several of them, I would say that in a ranked order, it would be UNDP. Secondly, it would be Deutsche Telekom. Thirdly, it would be RW Renewables. And why I listed as the first ranked UNDP is because it has the team leadership aspect to it as well. So needing to break down work streams and also lead an entire team.
More. Tell me in detail exactly what did you do at UNDP?
So at UNDP, so basically I first pitched together with my team a project and developed a project proposal and secured the project to help UNDP work on an impact assessment structure for their newly founded fund in Tanzania. Then as we went into the project, I noticed that after a few expert interviews, that there were larger problems.
What was your contribution, by the way? How did you contribute?
So my contribution was that I basically emerged as the leader of the team, and I led the whole project team of 4 other consultants. Basically, first doing a whole, so I redefined the problem definition from how do we structure the impact assessment process.
What was the ultimate impact of your work? You guys did what exactly happened because of your work?
So basically, at the end of the project, due to the whole contribution of the team, which was led by me, we basically not only developed an investment assessment structure or a due diligence structure for the whole newly invested impact investing fund in a way tailored way, but we also developed basically an overall strategy and optimized their previous program strategy, as well as developed recommendations on how to create an enabling environment in the country to attract foreign investors.
Okay.
So
why do you think? How do you relate that to what's your impression of what McKinsey does?
So basically, how I relate to this to McKinsey is basically two things. So one is working on high-level topics, and the second is complex problem solving, which also includes clients and several different stakeholders which need to be on board to actually go forward with the strategy.
High level in the sense you mean the high quality or top level, yeah?
Yeah, basically, so working on this strategic topic, on setting up a whole big picture overview of a whole project, or for example, in this case, to be very concrete, it's basically, so the program outline was already created for the fund, but then working on optimizing the whole strategy to make this whole project, multi-year project of $11 million investment successful, right? So it's large sums of money at stake, and yeah, large failure rate if not strategized and executed correctly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, but you led the team over here, so I think we are considering you for BA role. So for probably next couple of years, you have to work as an individual contributor. Are you up for it?
Yes, of course. So I don't define leadership only as leading others, but you also need to learn how to lead your own work streams and lead your own work. So I think it's completely fine.
Okay. Okay. I can see that a lot of successful projects you have executed in last couple of years. Can you talk about anything which has failed?
Yeah, so I would like to share with you actually an instance where I basically organized a hackathon initiative in collaboration with Yale Open Lab, where basically only a small 1/3 of participants showed up because we didn't communicate correctly the new location of the fund. Would this be fine with you?
Sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Okay, so basically, I was Yale Open Lab reached out to me to ask if my club, my student organization, would be interested in hosting a hackathon initiative that was related to sustainability. So basically, to work on creating an open source carbon accounting system. And I took up the offer, even though it was only in 4 weeks. And we started organizing it. We had around 60 signups, but after 2 weeks, our event location was canceled. And although I had worked for several days and nights to get an event location, a new event location, and I managed to get full sponsorship for this in the tune of $10,000 to $20,000, we basically failed to communicate this correctly to our audience. And even though we had a new even though we had a new location, the participants came to the wrong location and started posting on social media that asking us why are we not at the first location that was communicated. And yeah, basically we could have had probably about 50 participants, but we had only 20, and a lot of the efforts were wasted due to lack of communication. Although we posted it, we maybe didn't communicate the new location aggressively enough.
Okay, okay. How would you avoid this kind of situation in the future?
So basically, in the short term, what we did is we encouraged basically the participants to join into the new location. But secondly, I also took out really long-term lessons from this. So I learned that over focusing on one detail of a project or event or whatever it is not sufficient if you don't kind of have a holistic view, at least of certain parts, because I left it too much to others to focus on this, and I didn't check up on it and to make sure that it would be executed in the right way. So from now on, I really check in that some of these basic things are really taken care of always.
Okay. Okay. So at core, it's about the planning, right? It should be project planning and delegating and probably intermittently checking whether the task that is delegated, that is done or not. Yeah.
Yes, so I was overly focused on basically delivering, getting the new location. I didn't focus sufficiently enough on getting the participants there in the last place.
Okay, okay. And this was a conference like a TED Talk?
So basically this time it was a hackathon initiative. So it was basically a hackathon that was being launched and that was very new.
Okay, okay. And how do you estimate when you're designing events like this? How do you estimate how many participants will come in hackathon, and in terms of audience, what's the kind of audience that you should expect?
That's a good question. So I think there's always two key aspects to look at it. So you need to look at it from a supply and also a demand perspective, right? So in terms of supply, what I mean is we usually first figure out what is the maximum participants we can have and what is our target team internally. And then secondly, we start doing marketing campaigns based on this. And we always create a buffer because we know that there's a no-show rate always. So we try to...
I'm not talking from that perspective. So I just want to know, how would you estimate that? Yeah. So yes, of course, marketing initiatives and all, you will try and attract. But ultimately, when you put together a business case, whether this will make sense or not, yeah, you need to identify, right, that if I have something like this in Berlin or in Munich, ultimately, how many people will show up? How do you estimate that?
Okay, so one way to estimate it specifically for hackathons is to first focus on understanding what is the key target audience. So, and you can do this in several steps. So first is understanding how many software engineers you actually have, or people who are aspiring to be software engineers. So you look at the professional context, right? Then secondly, you narrow it down further by looking into who actually works or has a family in the weekend and who won't invest 2 days hacking through the weekend. And then you get a more representative number of what is your actual addressable market. And then you can further estimate based on this, what is the possibility of them actually coming to the event.
Okay. Okay. But those are the participants. But what about who will attend it, or how does that the monetary aspect work? Who pays for this kind of events, and why should they pay for these events?
So basically, from an organizational perspective, we had mostly sponsorship from the second event location. So how I usually approached it is I always go into negotiations to highlight the aspects that are beneficial to this company that should offer the event location. So for example, I always go in with several key points. For example, highlighting the audience is one perspective. Second is, so
tell me, let's take an example. Okay, let's say McKinsey Digital wants to hire or are interested or might be interested, yeah, and you want to pitch them that be a sponsor for your hackathon. How would you pitch?
So yeah, that's a good question. So I would pitch it in the following way. So I would outline the participants. So on the one hand, who are the
take a minute and deliver it like a pitch. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
You can use imaginary numbers if you want to. Yeah, but give me a 1 minute pitch. Can you go on the previous slide, guys, moderator? I remember there is a case.
Okay, so basically, so we're really interested in having McKinsey Digital join our event or our hackathon for basically creating the world's first open source carbon accounting system as a sponsor and as basically a partner. And we really believe this would be highly beneficial for McKinsey due to three key reasons. First is we would have already 60 developers in the event with basically over 10 years of experience per person who are very passionate about solving complex challenges, and especially something so complex such as climate change. Secondly, we already have Delivery Hero, Bayer, and RW Renewables basically sponsoring us. And thirdly, we are working together on this project with Yale Open Lab and the Potsdam Institute of Climate, which are some of the top institutions in working in this field. And it would be a great association for McKinsey as well to get connected to them. And also all of these three key reasons would help you in recruiting further developers and get into new networks also by networking with the other sponsors.
Good. Guys, those who are not talking, can you please mute yourself? I see Zilla, your mic is on. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Okay, cool, Luca. Great. So let's get into a case now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Your client is one of the biggest steel producers in the world, okay? And he's evaluating the purchase of an iron mine. They have shortlisted a few, three in particular, one each in Cambodia, India, and China. And the client wants you to help them decide which mine they should purchase.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing this interesting case. So before jumping into asking some clarifying questions, I'd just like to see if I got all the facts of the case correctly. So basically, our client is a steel producer, one of the largest in the world, and they're just looking to buy a mine, iron mine in Cambodia, India, or China, and they want to decide which one they should go for, right?
Right.
Okay, so basically, before going into structuring the case and in my approach, I'd like to just ask a few clarifying questions. So basically, just to understand this, so our client is a steel producer and they're looking to buy an iron mine. So why are they specifically looking into these three mines in these three separate countries? Do they have any preconceived criteria of success for this acquisition?
I mean, it also about availability of the ore, yeah, or availability of the metal. And good question. One of the reason is that the plant is somewhere in China, and so what we are looking for is only the mines which are probably in the Asian region, and we don't want to go much beyond that.
Okay. So basically, and just to understand this, so basically they just want to go into Asia because of the availability of the metal, right? There.
No, the steel making facility is in China. Yeah.
Okay.
And iron basically is a raw material to make steel, right?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, they're just to see if I understood this correctly. So they're basically operations. They already are operational in China, right?
Yeah.
And just to understand this, so do they have any operations in India or Cambodia? So what's their setup in Asia? Okay. So thank you so much for sharing this. And just to understand one more thing, so do they have, so I already asked you this more from the purpose perspective of the case, but do they have any hard metrics to track their success with going forward with this in terms of break even or?
Let me ask you that question. Yeah. What do you think? What kind of success criteria they should have in mind?
Okay. So can I take a few moments to structure my thoughts?
Okay, but even I don't know whether you are going for the case structure. Even before that, I want you to tell me that what are the success criteria that we should be suggesting to the client?
Okay, so basically, can I just take a few moments for this question as well?
Please.
Okay, so basically, how I would break what would be the main factors that I would go for understanding what should we go for would be understanding basically the extraction potential in terms of both. So in terms of extraction potential for the ore, so understanding what the yield would be from these mines, as well as what the quality of this would be as a percentage of what is extracted. And secondly, I would like to understand basically how feasible it is for us, one, to win this project, and then secondly, to also
keep the feasibility out. Okay, I don't want to add feasibility to as a success criteria.
Okay. Okay, so then I would basically focus on the extraction potential and how I would like to understand the extraction potential is to understand what is the overall ore we can get from this mine, and then the percentage of quality ore that would be mined in each of these different mines.
You mean if we have one mine giving 50,000 and same quality other mine giving 70,000, then you will choose the 70,000 mine, 70,000 metric tons, let's say, the capacity of the mine, extraction capacity. Then you will choose the second.
So not necessarily, right? So we have also to take into consideration the whole picture. So we can also take a step back and frame it in terms of the profitability of the mine, let's say, or the return on investment, right? So let's focus first on, I think.
We don't even need to talk about profitability and return on investment. Think about it, yeah. So, I mean, you are going in the right direction, but this is a raw material for the steel manufacturer, right? So, what is that simplistic criteria that they should think for?
So basically, I think the simplistic criteria, if you're thinking about, I think the most important criterion here would be overall monetary returns from this, which is a function of understanding what you can actually get out of the mine and what you can actually extract, and then what you can actually convert into something that you can sell, and also as a function of the cost that you would incur first as an initial investment, and then as an cost for the employees there, and many other factors that we're going to account that are very local context specific.
Yeah. I mean, basically the metric that I was looking for was cost, landed cost per ton. Yeah, that matters, right? And apart from that, another is the capacity. Yeah, so because this is sourcing, basically sourcing the raw material. So it's not just which one is cheap, but how much are we sourcing, so that we are good for how many years. All those things, calculations will come into play. Good. So now you can get into structure. Tell me, how would you approach this problem?
So can I take now a few moments to structure my thinking? Go ahead.
Sure, please.
Okay, so how I'd like to approach the question of which mine to go for in terms of Cambodia, India, or China, I would look into two key areas, or answer two key questions. The first question is which mine location would be most attractive to us, and secondly, understanding the question, which would it be most feasible to set up operations for and basically operate. And on the first key question of the attractiveness of the mine, I would look into three key areas. One would be understanding answering the question, what is the extraction potential of this certain mine? Then secondly, understanding what is the actual financial attractiveness of this venture in terms of understanding the financials of the whole initiative. And third is understanding other factors. And what I mean by other factors is here is basically, do we need to go into some certain bids to actually win this project? And is there anyone else competing? Is it a tender process? And then what would we actually need to do to get this project done? So whether it's actually attractive to go into these negotiations because this costs a lot. So to do a deeper dive into the extraction potential, I would, as we discussed earlier as well, I would look into basically what is the remaining resources in this mine in terms of what can be mined there. That's, let's call it the capacity, and then understanding what is the usual quality of these resources that are mined from there. What can actually be just discarded as not valuable, right? So this will be from the extraction potential. And also what I would look into here is on the timeline perspective. So that's also related to capacity, but understanding for how long we could actually be using this mine. And basically on the financial attractiveness, I would basically just like to understand the financials behind this initiative, to understand what are some different investments that we need to make, and just to understand the return on investment of each of the mines, at least to model it. And on the last front, as I mentioned, the other factors, I would basically look into, do we have any major bottlenecks in terms of going into tendering processes or anything similar to get this contract, to win this contract. Okay, so taking a step back now from the attractiveness side, I would also look into the feasibility to actually go with this. And here, I think there are two key areas. One is basically the first is understanding, do we have actually the cash resources to go forward with buying each of these three mines, and which one of them can we actually go forward with? And secondly, understanding, do we have the right operational capabilities to make this work? And by this, what I mean is, so just getting the raw materials from one of the mines is one part of the story, but then the second thing is actually transporting it and converting it into a sellable product that we would have. And then this also plays into understanding how feasible this is for us to do, because there's also, if you, for example, take a mine in Cambodia, you need to get it to China, maybe there are high import fees, and maybe it's complicated to do with the local authorities, and can maybe the company would be forced to do bribery or similar things to actually get this over. So yeah, that's basically how I'd approach this.
Okay, good. That's quite exhaustive. I would though feel that the government regulations, etc., would actually come in both the places, in attractiveness as a taxes, but from a feasibility perspective, whether governments allow you to own or lease the mines. Yeah, so it will come in both places. Good. So I just the very long list of criterias, and good to see your exhaustiveness, Luca. I have a shorter list of variables, and I just want you to do a small calculation for me and tell me per ton which mine is going to be the cheapest for us. Okay, so I'll just give you some data. First of all, I'll give you a data which is applicable for all the mines, which is the entire extraction cost, which involves digging, taking it out, probably a little bit of processing and purification. Everything together, it takes $10,000 per ton. Okay, per ton cost is $10,000. Okay, and transportation cost is $100 per ton per kilometer. These are the numbers which are applicable for both, I mean, all the mines, all three mines. Yeah. Now I'll give you mine specific data. Okay. Cambodian mine can give us 5,000 metric tons per year, and we can extract it for 8 years. That's the capacity of the mine. In Cambodia, the taxes are 10% on the extraction value or extraction cost of the material. And the Cambodian mine is 3,000 kilometers from the factory. Indian mine can give you 7,000 metric tons or 7,000 tons, and you can do the extraction for 6 years. 7,000 tons per year for 6 years. In India, the taxes are 2%, but the Indian mine is 4,000 kilometers away from the nearest factory. In China, the mine capacity per year is 6,000 tons, and you will be able to extract 6,000 for 12 years. But in China, the taxes are 20%. And Chinese mine is only 1,000 kilometers from the steel plant. Okay.
Yeah. So this is so basically, can I just recap the data that you provided me with, just to be sure I have everything correctly?
Sure.
So after that, I would go into outlining how I would approach this. So basically, so we have basically for all, we know that the entire extraction cost per metric ton is $10,000. And we know that the transport is $1,000 per metric ton per kilometer.
$100.
$100. Okay. $100, right? So not 100,000, but 100, just to be sure.
Yes, $100 per ton per kilometer.
Okay, and just to be sure I'm handling the units right. So you mentioned for all, you mentioned the variable cost is $10,000 per ton. Later on, you mentioned metric tons, right? So just to be sure that
metric ton is same.
Okay, so it's same. Okay, so we have variable cost in terms of extraction, $10,000 per ton. We have transport, $100 per ton per kilometer. Then specific factors, Cambodia, we know that it's 5,000 tons. Basically, we have 5,000 tons and 8 years. So just to understand this is 5,000 tons per year for 8 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have taxes 10% on extraction cost of material, distances 300 kilometers from the factory.
3,000.
Okay, 3,000. Okay, good. Good that I asked. Then in India we have 7,000 tons and 6 years. Then we have taxes 2%, distance 2,000 kilometers from the factory. And for China, we have 6,000 tons and 12 years, and taxes 20%, and distance 1,000 kilometer from the factory, right?
Right.
Okay. So what I would like to do with these numbers is basically, in order to be able to make a comparison between these 3 different mines, is what I would focus on is setting up for each of the mines different equations. So what I want to do is now just to create a table to have everything neatly organized. So I would have first Cambodia, then I would have India, and then I would have China.
Yeah.
And basically how I would approach this is I would like to understand now for all of them the overall costs, right, that would be present. So is it fine that we now focus on the costs and then later on we can also focus on understanding what would be our revenue generation from these mines? Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So how I would set this up is basically first understanding. So we can break down the process now just so you have the numbers for later calculations. So we can break it down into extraction potential, which would be first looking into each mine separately and understanding how much we can extract. So for Cambodia, this would be 5,000 per year times 8 years, which is 40,000 tons on a lifetime value basis. Then secondly, in India, we have 7,000 tons per year times 6 years, which is basically 42,000 tons. And then we have lastly in China 6,000 tons and 12 years, which makes 72,000 tons. Okay, so now just to recap, we have Cambodia 40K, India 42K, and China 72K. And we can see that China is nearly, it's nearly double the other mines in terms of potential. But then we need to understand now the cost, and how I would do the cost calculation is I would take basically I would take the entire extraction potential and then multiply it by the percentage tax to get the overall tax. And then after that, I would also take the transportation cost. So I would break it down into two separate parts, and then I would take basically how many tons we have, then how many kilometers we need to travel. So I would go into calculating this now. So what I would do here is first I would like to calculate the taxes. So the taxes would be for Cambodia, this would be basically $40,000 per ton, and can we assume that we don't take the value of the extracted tons? So we don't need to understand the price of the ton, but we can just take the volume and then 10. Okay.
So the 10% or the taxes you can apply on the cost. Don't worry about that.
Okay, so we first need to then understand basically the extraction cost, right? So okay, yes. So I'll go into calculating the extraction cost. So the extraction cost would be 10,000 per ton for all of the mines. So basically the total extraction cost for Cambodia would be basically 10,000 per ton times 40,000 tons, which is basically 400 million.
Perfect.
Then for India, it would be $420 million. And then basically for China, it would be $720 million. And then if we want to dive deeper into the taxes, then the taxes would be based on this. So I'm not taking into consideration the transportation cost. I'm just focusing on the extraction cost. It would be 400 million times 10%, which would be $40 million. Then for India, 420 million times 10%, which is $42 million, and China 720 million.
Wait. 2% of 420 is how much?
Okay, sorry. Yeah. I took the wrong number for India. So we have 2%. So we have for India, we have 420 million times 2%. And how I would get to this is basically understanding what 1% is. And 1% is 4.2 million times 2 is $8.4 million. And then we have the China taxes are 20%. And here it would be 20% out of 720 million, which would be 10% of 720 million is 72 times 2 is $144 million. So interestingly here, the tax costs in China are super high. So it's basically 144 million on an overall basis. Okay, so the next step would be understanding the transport cost. So how I would understand the transport cost. So we know that it's $100 per ton per kilometer. So that means we take the extraction potential and multiply it by the 100 ton per kilometer times the how many kilometers we have, right? So the distance. So for Cambodia, this would be basically taking 40K ton times $100 per ton times basically the distance, which is 3,000 kilometers. So it would be basically 40,000 times 3,000 times 100, which is 300,000. So it's 40,000 times 300,000, which is basically, 1 moment, 4 times 3 times a million times 1,000, which leads to $12 billion. $12
billion?
So,
Something is not right.
Okay.
100 per ton, right?
So it's basically 40,000 tons times $100 per ton per kilometer times the number of kilometers traveled. So it would be basically 40K times 100 times 3K, which is differently put, basically 40K times 300K, which is basically 4 times 3 is 12.
Okay.
Times million times 1,000. So it's 12
billion.
billion.
Your approach is correct. Yeah. Just for the sake of time, Luca, you're doing good. Let's say that India comes out to be the cheapest per ton. Okay. Cambodia is the second, and China comes out to be the most expensive. Okay, let's say, yeah. What all other considerations, yeah, would you like the company or your client to have before they decide on the cheapest cost option of India?
Okay, so can I take a moment to just think about this, or do you want me to jump straight into it?
No, you can take a minute.
So what I'd like to look into here is basically, so apart from the cost side, right, I think we need to understand two key things. One is understanding what is the actual financial attractiveness of this for us. So apart from the cost side, right, we understood it, but then we also need to understand what is the revenue potential, and then what do we actually get in terms of profits, because we were talking about India having 42,000 tons, then we have Cambodia 40K tons, then just understanding also what is the investment profile in these different countries, and kind of what would be our return on investment. That's on the financial side. On the non-financial side, I would be basically focusing on kind of key risks. And by risks, what I mean here is, I think we can break it down into kind of human-related risks, and second is environment-related risks. So understanding on the human-related side, I would understand basically, are there any major political risks in these countries if we go into operating with them? Do we foresee any potential tensions in terms of increasing the transportation costs by creating higher levies on when it's transported from country to country? to actually get to the factory to create our output, and two is environment related. So the key question I'm trying to answer here is understanding, are we actually going to be able to materialize our investment? Because there might be some major risks in terms of the environment here, which might impede us to extract the maximum value out of this mine.
Okay. Okay, good. Do you have any question for me?
Yeah, so basically case related or non-case related?
Any question?
Okay, basically what I'm really interested in from learning from you, so I saw that you worked in the Frankfurt office. So I'm also interested in learning more about, so what do you think is the most challenging project you worked on so far, and why was it so challenging?
Okay, that's a very good question. And but that was challenging project kind of brings some negative thoughts in my mind. Yeah, I mean, the most challenging one was when actually after the Lehman Brothers crisis, I was working to save a bank in Italy, a very huge bank. In fact, one of the cornerstones of Italy's economy. It was going down, and there was a huge McKinsey team. We were trying to save that bank. We actually could save it, but it resulted into a lot of their branches, lot of their people, lot of subsidiaries had to be cut off in order for a larger good of keeping the bank afloat. Very challenging. Lot of emotional, lot of political cry. But yeah, I mean, we had to do the business.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting. And so from your experiences as working at McKinsey, which 3 key habits do you think have helped you be successful in your role as a consultant?
Sounds like you are interviewing me. 3 habits. I don't know about 3 habits, but so one habit I would surely talk about, which is structure, and structure. Yeah, so ensure that you structure your problem, you structure your day, you structure your communication. If you are overall, kind of a structured professional, yeah, I think you will be able to survive consulting. You will be able to do that much easier than if you struggle to structure things. Does that help you?
Yeah, of course. And looking back now at your starting days at McKinsey, what would you advise someone looking back now, and what do you think is one thing I should know going into potentially getting an offer and starting soon in the Frankfurt office?
I will say practice. Yeah, practice cases, and welcome to McKinsey if you can actually go through the recruitment process. Yeah, I think all of you guys are quite bright individuals. Yeah, and with real practice, with real preparation. Yeah, I think you can all become very good consultants. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Luca, how do you feel?
Good. Yeah, it was an interesting case and discussion as well.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think Luca deserves an applause? Can you write in the chat, or can you maybe, show up, turn on your cameras and speak what you think? I see. Yes, definitely. That was really well excited. Yes,
Well
definitely.
done.
Boy, you nailed it. Yeah, anyone else would like to show up and congratulate Luca?
Hi, Luca. Congrats. I think you did very, very well. Your list was exhaustive. That only goes to show how creative you are in the various options you came out with. So well done.
Thank you.
Ridwika is right, and yes, absolutely. His composure throughout that case was amazing. Cheers to Luca. Yes. Well, Julia even wants to give you an offer. Well done from Handoko. Excellent performance, great performance from Rachel and Kalinas. Guys, any further opinions? Does anyone would like to criticize Luca for something? Speak now or stay silent forever. All right, cool. Luca, I think you have basically deserved our applause. So can you guys please quickly turn on your cameras so that we can give the applause to Luca first? All right, cool. Luca, how would you reflect in your interview? What do you think what went well? Only good things.
So what I think went well were, let's say, certain parts of the case and as well as the fit interview. So I think, I think I try to be as the least nervous as possible. So I think I handled some curveball questions fairly well.
All right, sounds good. Cool. And Luca, what do you think what was not that good? What was suboptimal? What would you like to improve moving forward?
So basically, I think the start of the case might have been a bit bumpy, but I think so. As far as the structure is concerned, it was fine, but maybe later on in the calculations, maybe I took a bit longer time. I'm not actually sure, and Gaurav tried to challenge me on a calculation, but I took a step back and maybe I wasn't confident enough in the calculation right away, but I recalculated again to showcase that it's right. I'm not sure on this front.
Okay, anything else apart from this? Maybe in personal feed parts or in case or in your questions at the end of the interview?
Yeah, so as far as the personal fit, I wasn't expecting some of the questions to switch so quickly. So that's the fit portion. I wasn't ready for some of the questions in such a way, and Gaurav was very interrupting me in what I would think, but I still tried to keep composed despite this, and just to go with the flow and not to take it personally. And yeah, secondly, I think that for the case, I think for the questions actually after the interview, I was ready to some extent, but maybe I could have asked some other questions. Maybe I asked a question that arose a bit of negative feelings for Gaurav, so it might be good to play on the psychology and rise some positive emotions instead of negative ones.
Okay. What are your personal takeaways out of this interview?
Yeah, I think
for your upcoming interviews.
I think the key takeaway is expectation management. So one is basically so on the fit part, and the second one is on the case part. So in the fit part, I think it was really important to understand that I might get interrupted, that I have to just not take it personally, because if I do, then I will think I'm doing something wrong. right? Which is often not the case, but they just want to probe you. And secondly, on the case part, I think as well to go with the flow, how the interview wants it to play out, right? Because I was trying to go with the standard case structure in terms of going directly into structuring, but then I got asked a question, but I still try to take a step back and go with the flow. So this is one key takeaway, that sometimes it might go in a different direction than you thought it would.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to get the feedback from Gaurav on this interview? Ta-da-da-da-da! Just write into the chat. Would you like to hear the feedback from Gaurav, or do you think it's irrelevant? Guys, do you want to have the feedback from Gaurav? Yes or no? Or maybe no, or big yes? Yeah, Gaurav, it seems like now it's your start time, so smash him. Smash him.
Okay, so I don't want to smash him. Normally, generally, interviewers never try to smash you guys. So yeah, please take it with a pinch of salt. But yes, just to give you a context, okay, I wanted this experience to be very real for Luca. And Luca is a business analyst level candidate applying for McKinsey Germany internship. If I'm being really top down in my criteria, I would say if this would have been a real interview, I would have given the internship to Luca. Very well managed in terms of the stress management, and the kind of breadth that he showed in the answers, the messiness, keeping the composure, getting the difficult calculations in spite of challenging and also curveball questions, very well answered. Okay, so well done, Luca. Really great performance. However, yeah, that doesn't mean that we don't have improvement areas. Yeah, and I always say that prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Yeah, so if I'm really strict interviewer, yeah, and I'm really trying to nitpick small things, yeah, then I would still give you a lot of feedbacks. Okay, and more the better, because this is a simulation, and I think it will be beneficial for all of you guys as well. Okay, so I'll literally start chronologically. So Luca, I think at the start, for the first almost 10 minutes, you are visibly stressed. Okay, so every interviewer will have a different interpretation out of it. Just so try and work on the emotions and try and at least try to look happy. Yeah, try and hide some emotions. Yeah, at the start. Slowly, I think you will get into the groove, and you will naturally be opening up. But at the start, it's an effort that you need to make. Yeah, and of course, I'll tell you some techniques on how to do that. Second, why we should be hired? You should be hired. I don't think the answer was completely top down. You were still in that zone of anxiety, and I didn't come across as good as you typically kind of come across. In a couple of questions, I thought in the headline you did not include the impact. I had to probe it, so that is important. Intonation, yeah. So again, you tried to intonate, but still I felt your delivery was relatively flat. You need to give stress on the words, and you need to come out much better. I know you are applying for Germany office, and they are not native speakers, but still, yeah. These days, I think across the McKinsey offices, people apply from different areas, and the level of English also has risen. So you also need to give a good intonation. I tried to ask you a few questions which were like case, but in the fit part as well. Very nicely answered, huh? Very good about that conference, etc. I think you handled it pretty well. Today, I introduced something which is called pre-structure question, which is very typical of McKinsey. Yeah. So there are a lot of interviewers at McKinsey who wouldn't even let you structure. They'll start the question right at the start of the case part. Yeah. And so taking a couple of minutes and getting into structure, don't be in a hurry to do that. Yeah. I had a question for you. Yeah, which I needed an answer, and then you should have gone into structure. Okay, so a little bit of fumble happened, if you remember, at that point of time. Yeah, that could have been avoided. While I was giving you data, I think 2-3 data points you heard them wrongly. Now, of course, that might not be only your mistake. It might be my pronunciation. It might be bad connection. But again, just from the perspective of learning and trying to improve, yeah, let's see what is it that you as a candidate can do, so that while you are checking the numbers, there are not too many disagreements, because some of the harsh interviewer might kind of tick on the flag of not a very good listener. Yeah, you don't want that flag to be ticked. Okay. There was one small calculation mistake, I guess. Then yeah, taxes calculation, I think someone also mentioned it in the comment. You didn't have to do it separately. 10% you could have added directly in the tonnage, and you, in a single multiplication you could have done it. Again, remember the flag of coming up with efficient equations. Yeah, lesser the arithmetic operations, efficient it is. Okay, so you could have done that. At the end, I think that challenging project, I think we had discussed that. Yeah, so this is not the question that you should be asking. Okay, you want to evoke positive emotions in the interviewer's mind when you are leaving the interview. Okay, so you don't want to get him to kind of recollect some negative memories. Okay, so frame a question that will make him happy. Yeah, so talk about most impactful project, talk about something else rather than doing kind of challenging project. Even the what are the 3 things was little bit awkward. I felt it was very formal and interrogation kind of a question. You could have probably made it a little bit more friendly by asking, what are some of the things that you feel have made you a successful consultant at McKinsey? Yeah. So round it off and so that it doesn't sound bookish. Okay. So these are the things that you can still improve. Having said that, a very, very solid performance, guys, and 3 cheers and clap for Luca. I think the maturity and composure shown was amazing. Good.
Luca, my congratulations. If you do that tonight, you will do that also in the real interview. This is the best sign that you are on the right track. So simply just keep all the good work, and we are excited to help you to get your offers in the coming months. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, have you prepared any questions for us which you would like to ask? Can you maybe then list them into the chat? There is also one more small feedback which I wanted to mention to you as well, Luca. In fact, I didn't like your ending of the case interview. So in fact, so these kind of questions which you asked to Gaurav, making him remember his challenging days in consulting career. This is something which might be grilling him. You never know what kind of experience and how many burnouts he have survived through his career. And that's the thing. So usually he is as an interviewer, after he is done with you, he will need to finish the feedback assessment grid for you. And if the last thing, what you've asked him, make him to remember what was probably one of his worst projects at McKinsey, this will reflect a bad connotation with you. So rather than asking him for challenges, why not to ask him about the things which still make him proud, or some positive connotation. So this is just a small aspect, but don't just make sure that you don't bomb the end of the interview. Other than that, this was really amazing performance from my side, and I'm extremely happy to see that you did this so well in front of the entire audience. You've been exposed to the webinars for the first time and you got it from the first shot. So keep on doing this. And yeah, basically applause from my side, and also anyone else who would like to give Luca applause, please turn on your cameras. He has really done a great job. So I would give you an offer. My best congratulations. All right, cool. I think that we still have like 10 minutes for the Q&A. So let's basically try to answer as many questions as we can. Guys, we will do all our best, but most probably we will not be done with all of the questions. But please use the link which will be now shared by Alina, and in case your questions have not been answered or you have additional questions, just simply book a first free consultation call with our client manager in the link to be shared right now in the chat, so that our client manager would be more than happy to treat your case and to provide you all the necessary answers and to give you the guidance so that you can get it to the Lucas level one day and then land a job offer. All right, cool. So there is one question from Mohammed. Question to Gaurav. Why did you leave McKinsey? Gaurav, just be brief and structured.
I know. I just feel some of these guys keep the question regarding the interview process. Yeah, I'm happy to answer this question. Yeah, but I think that will just eat up time. Yeah. So why I left McKinsey, because like a lot of consultant, I found out what is my mojo, what is it that I would like to spend the rest of my life doing, and consulting in fact is a superb career launcher. Yeah, so yes, I launched myself into a work that that I really love. Okay, and I can go into deeper of that probably on one-on-one. But right now, I think let's choose the question to answer which are related to the process.
Next question from Florian Stacher. Maybe I didn't hear which mine was the preferred one.
India.
Okay. Handoko. Question to Luca. How did you prepare on structuring and how do you practice for speed? Maybe you could also share some of the experience, Luca, from being a part of our VIP community, and how does that work for you?
I know. So I think the key thing is that practice is the most important thing. So you might have a lot of difficulty structuring at the start, but if you invest a lot of time in practicing, and not only practicing with others, but really using the time to reflect, extract the feedback, absorb the learnings, and then sit down and do your cases later on. And you need to really, as I said earlier, you need to really focus on getting high quality feedback to be able to improve, right? So if you don't know your benchmarks of success, it will be hard to get any improvements. That's why I think I validate a lot of the how I think about problems and structure problems, for example, with Gaurav and the rest of the team. And then I get good feedback, and then I restructure cases I've done before in an exhaustive way to get as many factors as possible in. And that's, so you need to do a lot of alone time as well to absorb what you learn.
All right, cool. Thanks. Then the next question to Gaurav, which was your most rewarding and impactful engagement at McKinsey?
Okay, again, I'll be very brief on this. I think one of the engagement that I love to talk about is my engagement with the Prime Minister of Netherlands, when I helped them get some investment from a lot of different countries under the Paint the World Orange initiatives by Dutch Prime Minister.
Okay, then the next question comes from Serena Fioni. Is it okay to take a moment before the quantitative part to structure it, or is it preferable to suddenly start? And in this case, I didn't understood if it was better to calculate the costs altogether or subdivide them as Luca did.
You can take a few seconds. In fact, you should, and strategize about how are you planning to go with the math. You should be targeting the most efficient equation. Yeah, dividing the way they look at it, nothing wrong in it. Or if you want to do it all together, that is also fine with it. Yeah, ensure that you take time and structure the efficient equation, and keep on, if you don't want to talk throughout the calculation, then keep on sharing the intermediate results with the interviewer. Yeah, don't give that interviewer a shock at the end. Yeah, so that's the way to do it.
Okay, thanks. Then the next question from Juan Tran. Can we use calculator in the interview? The quick answer is no. Just not to waste the time. The next question is from Ahmed Abu Hamous. A general question to any of the coaches. What is the difference between Big Four consulting and strategy consulting firm? And do you help candidates who are applying for Big Four?
Yes, absolutely.
Gaurav?
Absolutely. We help people apply to all the top management consulting companies, which include Big Four or the strategy. The difference, I think the differences are diluting. However, classically, if you think about it, then the top MBBs, they called, the entry point in the organization is CEO, whereas Big Four, the entry point in the organization is CFO, right? Because these are the companies which have a history in audit and tax, etc. So normally when the companies have problems, the Big Fours tend to enter from CFO side. Of course, but once they are inside, I think a lot of overlap. So implementation project, transformation, etc. Everyone does these days. Yeah. So the pure play strategy firms these days don't just do pure play strategy; they also do everything else. But yeah, the entry points and the level of the issue, the type of our clients, etc. They differ, and hence the strategic importance of the project.
Yeah, and maybe also just to add from this for your second question, Ahmed. In fact, I think 3 or 4 our clients at the moment are actually going through the application process and interview process in the first, second and final interview round for strategic positions in consulting with the Big Four firms. So yes, we also have them in scope. Can you maybe just arrange the first call with our client manager and click on the link below in the chat to figure out more about this? We would be happy to help you to get the offer from these leading firms. All right, then the question from Ismail Husseinov. Luca, first of all to you, how did you improve your case structure and frameworks and business sense, also especially during the program? What was your progress and how did you approach it?
So I think I already commented on the structuring skills. So actually you mentioned framework. So I would actually say that structuring skills are more important than knowing any type of framework. So you shouldn't focus. So my main advice for this would not be focusing on frameworks that you can find in case consulting books and stuff, but that you really need to think about problems in a holistic way and to really understand how you would solve this problem from a business owner or CEO perspective, right? So to really put yourself in the shoes of the person running the company. And the second question was, how do you? What was the second question?
Yeah, your business sense. How did you improve the business sense? And basically, yeah, what kind of support throughout our program help you to improve either frameworking and structuring and your business sense?
Yeah, I think for business sense, you need to think about two key things. One is experience and one is practice. So on the experience side, of course, you need to maybe reflect also on what experiences you had, which touch points you had in the past with different industries and different areas, and then also maybe reflect on these experiences a bit more to understand how different environments work and how you can handle yourself in multi-stakeholder environments, especially. And then on the second part is practice. So I think that going through a variety of cases with the consulting masters team was super useful in getting this business sense. But apart from this, you also need to take personal responsibility for learning. So you also need to do this outside of the coaching programs. You need to also read business articles, read, for example, I know insights from the top firms, right? And you also need to think, not only read and try to absorb, but also try to think about how you would solve business problems that you encounter. For example, you see a restaurant or a cafe and you think about how would you optimize this, or you read articles, which was also recommended by Gaurav. You read an article and you think, how do you solve this business problem, how you would structure it, how you would develop a profitability tree for this that is exhaustive, right? So you need to kind of also in your head develop this muscle of thinking about complex problems and not shirking away from them because they're complex.
Yeah, great thing. Look at just a quick add-in from my side. When I was living in Germany and I came as a foreigner, I was not aware about the German market. I was reading a lot Wirtschaftswoche, which is like Business Week. So I subscribed for one of the leading business journals, and for on my spare time I was reading about some news. So therefore, for your respective country, please also subscribe for a Business Week or Economist or something like this, and keep on reading. And especially for the marketing sizing exercises, simply Google the data through the Wikipedia. So if you are, I don't know, applying, for example, for the Middle East and you have never been there, you have no idea. The best thing what you could do is simply Google in the Middle East. What is the GDP of Dubai and United Arab Emirates, or KSA, and like these key social demographical characteristics of every country, whether it's Europe, whether it's other regions of the world, especially if you're not familiar with this market. So Wikipedia is like your number one resource to at least find some core data about the country and about the market. All right, then the next question again goes to Gaurav. Gaurav, it seems like everyone is really very looking towards your experience as an ex-McKinsey consultant. So the next question also goes to you. How did you first hear about McKinsey and decided to join it?
How did I hear about McKinsey? I don't even remember. Because McKinsey notoriously or famously is always in the news. So I joined McKinsey post MBA, and even from pre MBA, I was a founder of a company, and I helped build a company in China. So I have always heard in a lot of business publication about McKinsey. So when it comes to consulting, the only company that I actually wanted to target in my life was McKinsey. Yeah, so that is what I was like crazy about it right from word one. Though I had offers from other consulting companies like BCG, I had investment banking, M&A offers, but yeah, I mean, McKinsey is something that I wanted to join. And if you come out of MBA, your fascination for McKinsey will grow a little bit, because in the kind of cases that they share throughout the MBA, etc. Again, McKinsey research and the McKinsey case studies, McKinsey quarterly, all these things, kind of keep on hammering. So McKinsey certainly has been marketing very well, yeah, to the MBA market. So that also probably contributed to that. Of course, having spoken to ex-McKinsey people before taking that decision also has done some. I mean, I've done some fact checking, some primary research before deciding on the offer, which is something that we can also help you if you are struggling to decide which company to join.
Okay. All right, cool. I already see that we are running out a little bit of time, but let us basically cover 3 more questions very quickly. So the next one is from Nayan Runka. So could we ask something like the interviewer's thought on a recent news topic? Probably at the end of the interview.
You can, but just remember that there is a possibility that he might just turn it around, and he might say, what do you think about it? What is your opinion about it? Yeah, because he might not have heard about it, and secondly, it's just too open question. It's not engaging enough for him, right? It's almost like a reporter kind of interviewing you. So some of these senior interviewers will just turn it around. And they will say, okay, what do you think about it? What is your opinion? And then be prepared for that.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. Then the next question is from Muhammad Dawood. And it's to you, Luca. How do you practice cases and what's your education background? And can you maybe also elaborate a little bit more on how Consulting Masters Program helped you to reach that level?
Basically, how I prepare for the interview, so I break it down into individual and practice that's individual, practice that's with others. And if you look at on the individual side, I think this is also really important because it gives you time to reflect and kind of give yourself more time. So when you ask me also about the speed of the structuring, when I do it alone, I go into more depth instead of going into speed, right? So that's when I have time to think about issues and go way deep. But then on the other side, you have practice with others, which is invaluable because you really, for example, for Consulting Masters, I practice a lot with Gaurav and sometimes also with peers, because what I think this gives you is, if you really want to prioritize on using your time in the best possible way, especially if you have a super busy schedule, you want to get the best feedback in and have the most out of each session you do with others. And that's what Consulting Masters provide me by practicing with coaches. But as well, then you have peers who are also trained well with the coaches, and then you can also see if you're integrating the learnings in the right way by getting peer feedback.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Luca, for sharing. Then one more question from Ritwika. I just had a question that we're looking into non-financial aspects in the first step. Help me rule out some alternatives and hence reduce the time spent in the calculation for the second step. Or will that be a wrong approach?
I actually did not get this question very well.
Me neither. So let's basically go to the last one question, which we can answer. What is the best way to prepare for the PEPs, so personal fit?
The personal fit is like asking for silver bullet. See, I think it depends on your profile and where you stand. But yeah, I think the best way I would say just like a consultant, I would say, first of all, you need to structure the preparation. Yeah, you need to think about the top questions that are typically asked, and kind of have some priority. At the same time, you also need to then work on the structure of every question, that how the answer would be structured, right? Third is the content. For every question, what kind of content should go, and what content appeals a consultant, what content will appeal a McKinsey interviewer versus some other interviewers. Yeah, and the last part is then delivery. Yeah, once the structure is done, the content is done, then basically how do you deliver it? Intonation, energy, timing, whether it is getting whether you are delivering it in 3 minutes, whether it's impact first, whether it's top down, all that stuff, whether it's foolproof, yeah, so that there is no there's minimum probing potential that you're leaving. So all these things need to be strategized. And see, a lot of people take PEI lightly, but guys, I don't know whether you know this, but it's the importance of the PEI is increasing, and McKinsey and BCG especially peg the number to almost 50% of the weightage, the PEI. So PEI needs to be also prepared very, very rigorously. A lot of people who get rejected in PEI, by the way.
Yeah, good, Kevin. I'm pretty sure we would be able to give you even the best answer, but just book the first call individually with our specialist so that we can provide you a very specific one answer according to your situation. Guys, we would probably need to cut here due to the time constraints. So could you please write into the chat, like, would you like to get some more bonus materials from our side? And would you like to book a call with our client manager to get a consultation completely free for you to respond to your questions, if those are still missing? Yes, I can see the first yes. So would you like to get some further bonus materials, as well as attend a first consultation meeting with members of our team? All right, cool. Then I think let's pass the word to Alina. I think people really want to get some gifts from us.
Yes, André, I see this. So let's move to our bonuses. But first of all, I want to say my congratulations to Luca. It was a really great performance, and it was like your first participation in the webinar and such a great result. Really, really great. And also thank you guys for your active participation in the chat. And now I want to share some bonuses with you. But before, I want to ask you, please, fill in the webinar satisfaction survey. I sent you the link already, to the first link, and your opinion is very important for us, and you can use this link and write what was good, where we can probably improve the webinar. Your opinion is extremely important for us, so please fill in the form, and we will be happy to improve for you and make our webinars much better for you. And also, as we promised, those who stayed with us till the end will receive some following goodies. First of all, this is brief presentation of the webinar, and of course, video recording of the webinar where you can watch it again, and probably if you need to organize some moments and to understand better the solving part, we will share it with you, and you can really analyze the whole case. And also, you can book a free consultation with our client manager to discuss your current situation. We'll be very happy to help you and answer all your questions and provide you support. So please book a free consultation with our client manager. The link is also in the chat. And for the next slide, and also in the chat, you can see that this month we'll have also 2 more webinars. So first of all, it is BCG and Bain first round interview simulation, which is going to be next Wednesday, same time from 5 till 7 Central European time. And the week after it will be BCG and Bain final round case interview simulation, also same time from 5 till 7 Central European time. And you can use the link in the chat to register for the next webinar. And also, I sent you some links for our social medias. And for us, it's very important that you can follow us on our social medias. And we have groups in LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So please follow us there. You will see there a lot of useful information for you and for your preparation. And also don't forget to check our website. There we share all the updates, all the announcements about the future webinars. So we are waiting for you there as well. And thank you a lot for your participation. Thank you that you joined us today. We're very happy to see all of you here. I wish you the great rest of the day and good luck. Bye-bye. See you soon next Wednesday.